Being able to control my appearance in any way, shape and form gives me strength, because I don't have control over my health, and most of the time the lack of control is what causes a lot of mental distress.
This is Soe-Myat. She's currently going through treatment for bowel cancer, and she had her last ever period in February 2022.
I was going to get pelvic radiation, so my ovaries are in the radiation field. So that would make my ovaries stop working, basically. I don't remember if the oncologist said the word menopause, but I realized that if it was going to stop my fertility, that means that it would stop my ovaries from working, which would put me in menopause. Yeah, that's how I discovered.
So let's take a look at some definitions. The menopause is when women's periods stop, which usually happens around the age of 50. The run-up to this is called the perimenopause. During this time, women notice their periods becoming unpredictable or heavy and may have symptoms they've never experienced before. When periods haven't happened for the last 12 months, you can say that you're postmenopausal.
It's not just specific to women who are older. You could go through this in your 20s. You could even go through this as a teenager.
I'm Elspeth, and I went through premature menopause when I was 15. I was 13 when I realised that I wasn't having a very regular period. So I spoke to my mum, I spoke to my GP. My ovaries were significantly too small and underdeveloped. I was told that my blood tests were low, and the conclusion was that I was going through premature menopause. I'm diagnosed with premature ovarian insufficiency.
Premature or primary ovarian insufficiency is an umbrella term that covers any form of menopause under the age of 40. For many, like Elspeth, it's not entirely clear why the ovaries aren't functioning. For others, like Soe-Myat, they experience menopause as a direct result of other medical treatment, like chemotherapy or surgery. You can also go into a medically induced temporary menopause. This is also known as a chemical or medical menopause.
I just went back to school and had my history class, and I remember trying to subtly tell my friend in code in the middle of class what had just happened. If it was something that, changed my hair colour or affected or gave me a huge rash or something, people would be able to know and remember, oh, she's the menopausal one, but that's not how it works. The only thing I could cling on to with my diagnosis was that it was something that made me different. So I was initially really hesitant to reach out to the community and develop friends with the condition.
I'm 22 years old, and at the age of 15 I was diagnosed with primary ovarian insufficiency.
I never had an actual period, unfortunately, and I've suffered from symptoms since I was 10.
I have been postmenopause for 32 years. I went into a very early spontaneous menopause at age 13.
I was just told over and over again, it's not a thing. It's super, super rare to have an early menopause.
Yeah.
Meet Emma. She was diagnosed with POI aged 25 when she came off the contraceptive pill, thinking about starting a family.
They sat me down and said, "You're going through the menopause." I kind of sat there stunned. I didn't know how to react. I didn't know what to say. I remember sitting there and looking at him he told me I'd lost my keys, that I couldn't have children. And I'm sorry.
This is Dr. Arif. She's an NHS GP who specialises in women's health.
Do you know what? I'm not like a TikTok superstar.
Well, she says that, but she has nearly 300,000 followers across social media and is the go-to person to follow on all things women's health and menopause care.
Please talk to the women in your life. You should be able to have that conversation with your mum, your grandma, your aunts, your cousins, your best mate. It's nothing to be embarrassed about, and learn from what they're going through, because then you have as much knowledge about it going forward.
She knows firsthand how hard the diagnosis of premature menopause can be on her patients.
I think the thing is that they feel that their body has failed them. The ovaries isn't working, and they might have planned to have children. So it scuppers up the life choices that they thought they could make and unfortunately now can't make. So the psychological, the mental well-being is really severely impacted.
So I lost my self-esteem, confidence through the floor. I didn't know what was happening to my body, my mind, brain fog, rage, depression, anxiety, to the point where I didn't want to be here anymore.
Brain fog, which made me feel like I was losing my mind and suffering from some sort of early dementia. And low mood and anxiety that robbed me of my personality and my ability to feel and be me.
I started to drink every night. I started to go out every other night. In a way, I abused my body, but not only with alcohol, with sex as well. I didn't want to be in a relationship. At 25, it felt like everybody was having children or getting in relationships to then create families, and I didn't want that.
Meet Olivia McVeigh. She's a makeup artist, an influencer, and runs her own brand. Alongside all the hair and beauty tips, she uses her online platform to speak openly about her temporary menopause.
What they're going to do now is they're going to put me in a medically induced menopause. So honestly just took last night to kind of process that. I don't even know how to process that. They've reassured me that it's all going to be grand, and it's just another thing that I have to do. And I'm only 24, so the thought of like the word menopause carries so much.
So what do you want me to say my name? Do you want me to say my age or anything? Do I have to say where I'm from? This is like Love Island. So I am in a temporary medically induced menopause because I have stage 3 endometriosis. The menopause is being used to alleviate my symptoms and hopefully give me a better quality of life for 6 months.
It's only for 6 months. So I'm a couple of weeks in now, and I thought I would just discuss. So my newest symptom is I have insomnia. It's been a month so far, so I'm a month into my menopause.
So on the same day every month I get an injection which keeps me in the menopause. It stops my reproductive system from working, and it stops the hormones from working. Is that right?
So there are certain drug treatments that work on blocking estrogen receptors, and therefore that can also mean that a person experiences menopausal symptoms.
Got my menopause injection on Wednesday. Don't think I've come on to chat to you about it. A lot of people had messaged me whenever I said I was getting my third one, being like, the third one's the worst one, like you're going to be in so much pain, like take days off work and all, and it was grand.
First I was told like, oh, maybe after the first month it'll work, maybe after the second month it'll work, and so far I'm still in pain with endometriosis. I shouldn't have, because it shouldn't be there. There's no hormones, it shouldn't be doing anything. My symptoms are I have insomnia, hot flushes, pressure headaches, aches and pains. I get pains in my knees and my back and stuff. I definitely wish I kind of knew more from like a medical point and not just random stuff that I've read on Google.
Well, let's put it really simply. Do you remember when you had your periods and then your estrogen came up? And the reason your estrogen was increasing at that time because it was going to kickstart your ovaries into having periods. Well, the reverse happens as you're transitioning through into the perimenopause. Your ovaries go, hang on, I'm through my fertility years, I do not need these hormones anymore. And so what happens is you have a decrease in estrogen and progesterone. It's the fluctuation of these hormones which means that you get the symptoms that you're experiencing.
Pelvic pain, constant headaches, hot flashes, night sweat, lack of concentration and memory problems, and so much more.
Physical symptoms of not sleeping, aching joints, massive fatigue, itchy skin, like looking like a hot mess.
I don't think anybody mentioned to me what the menopause entailed and what the symptoms I was going to be getting are. Yet they were solely focusing on my cancer and my cancer treatment.
I don't know if it's like an Irish thing, but you're just told to get on with it, and that is just how we were brought up, and that's how everyone was brought up here. And it's just kind of like there's people worse off. Like everyone's pain is validated, and everyone should feel like they are okay to, like, you're okay to complain. And like I do have times where I'm just like, this is so annoying.
I could go a whole week with only an hour's sleep, and that, especially when I work with the public as a hairdresser and need to be high in energy and talking to everybody, that is hard.
There's up to 48 different symptoms of the menopause, because they're almost like hodgepodge symptoms that come and go. Women can experience palpitations, hot flushes, night sweats. They can experience some digestive symptoms as well. They can experience some vaginal and vulval symptoms. There are psychological symptoms as well. So that can be irritability, loss of confidence, loss of self-esteem. Brain fog can occur, sleeplessness. So insomnia is a really classical symptom.
Technically, I'm 23, but physically, I feel like I am like 73.
I'm simultaneously too young and too old. You know, I didn't go through puberty in the same way as my friends, therefore I feel too young, but then I'm going through menopause in my teens, so I feel too old.
The menopause impacts everybody. If you know a woman, love a woman, come from a woman, you should know about the menopause. I don't think there is enough conversation about menopause in the younger age groups, particularly when it comes to surgical menopause, chemical menopause, and primary ovarian insufficiency. We just don't tell girls that at all.